Well, Syria's president is accusing the West of funding al-Qaeda and warns it will pay, quote, a heavy price. Bashar al-Assad gave an interview today to a pro-government TV station in Damascus. He vowed his regime will never surrender, saying defeat would spell the end of Syria. He also said the war could spread to neighboring Jordan, saying the fire will not stop at Syrian borders. Well, that warning comes just as the U.S. Defense Secretary announces a troop deployment to Jordan. Nick Payton-Walsh is following all these developments tonight from Beirut. Nick, can you tell us what will these military troops be doing there?
Well, CNN's Pentagon team has learned that 200 U.S. troops will be joining a complement of U.S. soldiers already in Amman in Jordan to assist there with logistics and the long ongoing program the U.S. has had with the Jordanians to try and make sure chemical weapons inside Syria don't fall into the wrong hands. These men hail from the headquarters of the 1st Armoured Division. They are purely there for logistics planning, increasing the capability of the U.S. to do something potentially in the future. And I should stress, they are not there as part of some sort of military intervention, either amongst rebels inside Jordan or assisting rebels inside Syria. What this does do, though, is increase the United States' ability to do stuff potentially in the future in the region and send a symbolic message of more U.S. boots on the ground on the doorstep of this now two-year-long civil war. But Barack Obama has been clear when he rebuffed a Pentagon state plan late last year for more military intervention to help rebels that he doesn't believe the White House or the United States should be militarily getting involved. That has to change before these troops become something more significant in the eyes of rebels. But this revelation came on a day in which Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, beleaguered inside Damascus, gave an interview to a pro-regime Syrian TV station, al-Ikhbariyya, in which he said, most importantly, I think, striking a defiant tone, no to surrender, no to submission, and went on to paint himself, I think, as the last bulwark against what he refers always to as terrorists in the ranks of rebels who might take over the country in the event that his regime falls. Here's exactly what he had to say.
The West has paid heavily for funding al-Qaeda in its early stages. Today it's doing the same in Syria, Libya, and other places, and will pay a heavy price in the heart of Europe and the United States.
Now, that is clearly him trying to suggest that when the U.S. assisted mujahideen fighting the Soviets in Afghanistan many decades ago, that was the beginnings of al-Qaeda. He's suggesting that perhaps Western aid to rebels falls into the hands of terrorists or extremists in their ranks. Remember, the US has blacklisted part of the Syrian rebels for alleged links to al-Qaeda. But again, he is suggesting that he is fighting terrorists and that effectively his regime is the last stop before al-Qaeda gets a foothold inside Syria and the Middle East, and further chaos could result. A defiant tone here, but once again, waving that flag of potential extremism in a bid to try and garner support for his besieged regime. Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN.